My name is Kaylee Snell, and we will be discussing Truman Capote as a major American writer for the upcoming semester. I wanted to begin with a quote. I believe this exhibits his personality and character without knowing anything about him. He seemed to be well known for his uncaring personality and attitude, and his lifestyle. He is considered an entertaining soul and lively person, but also an exceptionally skilled literary writer. The contents of this PowerPoint would consist of the author's background information, qualifying works signifying his placement among the major American writers, and my first recommendation and second recommendation. So his hometown was New Orleans, Louisiana, and he was born September 20th, 1924, and his former name was Truman Streckfus Persons. His parents were Lily Marie and Arch, but they were absent and neglectful towards him, so he was raised by his grandparents in Louisiana and Alabama and educated but a mediocre student. He abandoned furthering his education and began his literary journey. So some background information. He was recognized and praised for his work at really young ages, such as 12 and 18. He turned himself into a celebrity without having much credibility, and he wrote in a variety of different genres. Not only did his literary skills provide him fame and success, but also his personality pushed him further. He was known in Hollywood and pictured with stars such as Marilyn Monroe, and he achieved great success within the women's magazines. His work is entertaining, horrifying, and educational, which is why I believe, being that he fits into the genre of Southern Gothicism, he would be a strong contender for the upcoming semester. Qualifying works. So he is considered an American novelist, short story writer, and playwright. He is one of the most famous yet controversial American authors due to his ominous style of writing. He wrote notable works such as Answered Prayers, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and Miriam. He has also received remarkable admiration and praise for his journalistic work in Cold Blood, which is a film. His earlier work contains aspects of Southern Gothicism, such as Miriam and Other Voices, Other Rooms. From a young age, he was considered an honorary addition to American literature, especially due to his success with Miriam. He received 4 O. Henry Memorial Awards, which are given to short stories with exceptional merit. He also is responsible for the Truman Capote Award for literary criticism. This is issued through the University of Iowa on behalf of his trust, which grants $30,000 as a reward and is said to be the largest cash value for literary criticism. So even after his death, he's influential and inspirational towards American literature. My first recommendation is titled Miriam. Being that we have discussed the genre of Southern Gothicism, I believe it would be appropriate to extend the list towards that style of writing. Truman's work is notable in this genre specifically for this short story. It was published in 1945 in the Mademoiselle magazine and regarded as Truman's first literary masterpiece. After publication, he won the O. Henry Memorial Award for Best First Published Story. It is a tale of supernatural horror pertaining to the collapse of an isolated elderly woman. Her husband dies, and she is urged to remain isolated in her house. However, she meets a young girl at the movies with the same exact name as her. The girl intrudes into the elderly woman's life and demands to move into her house. When the woman asks for assistance with removing the strange girl, the house was empty. However, once she was alone again, a voice crept out of the darkness and said, "Hello." I believe this would be a fantastic addition to the next semester's reading list. It depicts elements of Southern Gothicism and mental illness, such as the woman's schizophrenia, grief, loneliness, and isolation. She suffered from the loss of her husband to the point of delusion. She subconsciously conjured a version of herself to which she believed was a real young girl. Her mind slowly began to wither away due to her severe seclusion, and the story having such strong elements of Southern Gothicism, I could not help but suggest it as an option for your list. My final recommendation I had to add because it's a novel, so I wanted to include it, Other Voices, Other Rooms. It was the New York Times bestseller for 9 weeks. It was published in 1948 and considered a very sensitive novel for its time because it pertains to a boy searching for answers to his own sexual identity through the South, which sounds a little similar to his own life. It's an exploration of identity, and in the end, the protagonist accepts his admiration of the same sex. This novel aligns with the critical queer theory, although the theory emerged in the early 1990s. His literary work was beyond his time, being that people were against homosexuality in the late 40s and early 50s. This novel goes against the traditional norms of society and aided in the realization of fluidity within sexual orientation and the coming of age. The photo that was on the back of the novel was argued as sexually aggressive and extreme, although it's not explicit nor extremely provocative, but during that time it was highly debated and disapproved of. The novel is categorized in the genre of Southern Gothicism due to its references towards the supernatural, mortality, isolation, and the protagonist's sexual desires. However, it also alludes to race, gender, memory, and the past, which is similar to the novels we have read this far, such as Beloved and Sing Unburied Sing. This novel broke barriers that other authors during this time were timid to publish, which is why I believe it would be educational and beneficial towards your list of major American writers.